Hey traders, I'm back. It's been a little bit since I made a video, but everything's been good. Hope you've all been having some success, having green days, green trades, all that good stuff. My week so far has been great. Monday I made just a little over $1,400. Yesterday I made a little over $1,700, and today I made over $3,000 trading AMD, Meta, and the Triple Q. So today I had a P&L of 10.87% on the day, $1,870 profit on AMD, $1,261 profit on Meta, and $379 profit on the Triple Q. And I'm going to do a screen share in a minute where I'm going to talk about just AMD specifically, because obviously I traded a lot of contracts today. Usually I trade a lot of contracts during the day, so it would be really difficult to go in and out of every single trade and break it down, but I'll show you my ins and outs for earlier in the morning where I got in and out completely flat on AMD. And then I left the Meta and the Qs trade on a little bit longer, but I've since closed it, so now I'm completely flat on the day. But we're just going to talk about the beginning of the day on AMD, first thing in the morning. So I did my entire AMD trade within the first half hour. Yeah, like the first half hour of the day, I was in and out completely on AMD. And that's the thing that I want to talk about because there are some particular things that came into play on that trade that I think people can learn about. And so I'm going to talk about that one in a second. But another reason that I wanted to make this video today is to just talk about a little bit more of an esoteric idea about just trading as a whole. And it's a little bit hard to kind of put this into words, but I'm going to try my best to do it. Obviously, if you're watching this video, you're either day trading now actively, or you want to learn how to do it and you want to learn how to be successful. And I've noticed that there's a lot of videos online of people basically laying out rules. Like, if this happens, this is going to happen. When you see this happen, do this. And it's very cut and dried, like if then, putting things into a lot of black and white situations, like if this happens, this is definitely going to happen. And I completely disagree with that line of thinking. I'm going to put this into musical terms because I'm a lifelong musician. I got my first guitar when I was 12 years old on my 12th birthday, and I've been playing music for decades. And so a lot of education, a lot of videos would make you think that day trading is essentially like classical music. It needs to be perfect. There are things that happen and you need perfection in order for it to work. And I believe that day trading is not like classical music. Day trading is like jazz. What that means is every single trade is its own thing. Every day is its own unique entity. Every situation is an opportunity to do things a little bit differently. And what this means is that you need to approach every single situation with an open mind and a fluid mind. You need to look at the charts, see the candlesticks, see the action of the candlesticks moving and flowing, and you need to play the chart. I always say that, play the chart. What does that mean by playing the chart? Well, it means that you might have a level set up, and just because your price hits a certain level, that's no guarantee that a certain thing is going to happen right after the price hits that level. There are no if-then situations in day trading. Yes, there are best practices. There are if-probably situations. There are a lot of those. I mean, I operate with if-probably every single day. Meaning, I'll see a certain thing happen, and when I see that thing happen, I say, well, this is probably going to happen now because this other thing happened. But I never think to myself, oh, well, this happened, so this is definitely going to happen. I never think of anything in absolute terms. There are no black and white situations when it comes to day trading. Everything is a gray area. And so that's why day trading is a lot more like jazz than it is like classical music. You need to play the chart. Look at the motion of the candlesticks. Look at the interaction of what price action is doing at any given moment. And combine that with the action on the SPY or the triple Q. Coordinate what you think is happening on one ticker with what's happening on these ETFs that kind of give you more of an overall picture of where the market's going. There's just so many things to pay attention to and to look at. There's not one magic bullet as far as like what's going to work. And I know that people don't want to hear that. People want to hear like magic bullet type stuff. People want to hear, oh, just do this and then this thing will happen. Like the easy way out. It's like how people want to get in shape, but they don't want to actually go to the gym. They just want to take this magic diet pill and suddenly be skinny without putting any work in. It just doesn't work like that. You need to like look at the charts every single day. Whether you're trading just a little bit or whether you're trading a lot, it's super important to just continue to watch the charts every single day and just observe the action, the price action. It's like waves in an ocean. And if you get yourself skilled, then you can see the bigger picture and then the micro picture at the same time. And that's why a lot of times I will trade in multiple time frames on the same trade. So like, for example, I might, this is what I did with Meta. I traded Meta yesterday and today, and I had some contracts on Meta that I had open from yesterday. There were some contracts that I day traded yesterday on Meta. I held some overnight. I added in this morning, and then I fixed my average price, and then I got out when the price came up at a certain point. And so that in particular was an example of a more complicated, like it was just, there was a lot more going on with the way that I traded Meta. And the way I traded AMD was a lot simpler, and that's what I'm going to talk about in a second when we go to the screen share, just because it's easier to break down. But a lot of times I will have like a multi-layered approach when I'm trading, and I'll get in and out quickly on some contracts, and then I'll hold other contracts to try to squeeze a little bit more profit out of it. And if it doesn't go my way, a lot of times I will deal with the pain that happens when you're suddenly down a little bit, and then I'll add in at precise moments if I think that the price is in fact going to go in my direction in a longer term time frame. So I realize that might be a little bit difficult to understand right now, but just keep at it. You know, if you're finding yourself getting frustrated, being like, oh, I'll never get it, I'll never understand it, or whatever, you will understand it. Just keep doing it. I mean, I understand things a hell of a lot better right now than I did a year ago. And a year ago, I understood things a hell of a lot more than I understood them the year before. It will take time. Day trading is not something that you'll suddenly, there won't be like a light switch that just flips and you go, oh, I've got it now. It's a thing that requires years sometimes of dedication and practice in order to get really skilled at. And that's why I always say, don't get in with large size right as you're starting out. Quickest way to blow up your account is if you have just a couple of green days as a beginner, and then you suddenly think, oh cool, I've got it, I totally understand everything now. And then you jump in with your entire account the next day, and guess what? You have a terrible day, and you've suddenly blown up or nearly blown up your account. That's the last thing that anybody wants to do. So just chill out and give it some time. And if you do that, it will come to you. It will. You just need to give it a little bit of time. So back to the main focus of this video today. Play the chart. Don't look for perfection. Don't look for absolute rules. It's not like when you're looking at the charts, it's not like you're reading sheet music. You don't need to look at, oh, this is this note here, and now I play this note, and now at this exact moment I play this note. It's not like that. It's like jazz. You gotta feel the room, feel the nuance of all the players on the stage. Let yourself get free. Trade free. Don't trade limited. Don't trade in a box. Trade free. Just let your mind free as you trade. And if you do that, I believe you will be successful. Maybe not now, but at some point you will be. So now I'm going to go and break down AMD this morning and tell you exactly why I did what I did. And hopefully it'll be easy enough to understand for everybody. Alrighty, here we are taking a look at today's 1-minute chart on AMD. Now we're just going to focus on like the first half hour of the day because that's where all of the action really took place. That's when all of my trading happened, so that's what we're going to focus on. But first I'm going to put up the ins and outs, a quick screenshot of the ins and outs, and you'll be able to see everything that I did. Now, there's a lot of stuff going on here. There's Qs contracts, there's Meta contracts, there's AMD, but we're only going to be taking a look at AMD for the purposes of this demonstration here. So let's take a look when we start. We're starting right at the very beginning of the day, 8:30 a.m. And you'll see that I bought a number of AMD contracts right at 8:30, 8:31, 8:32. I really kind of loaded in right away. Now, this is different from what I usually do, waiting a little bit before I get in, and I'll explain why I did this today in a second. And then if you go up to the very top of the screenshot, you can see that I closed out my last AMD contract at 8:55 a.m. So let's go over and have a look at the chart now. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go left, and you'll see something kind of interesting. There was really hardly any movement post-market yesterday and then pre-market today. You can see right here these lines that I'm hovering over right now. This is the high and low of the day from 2 days ago. So this was post-market yesterday, and then this break in the line, and then we start with the new high and low. So this was the high and low of the day from yesterday. And the one thing that you'll notice is that post-market and pre-market today, there was virtually no movement. I mean, it's a very, very slight upwards trend, but I mean, I wouldn't even really call that a trend. It's it's barely moving. It's basically just going sideways from the moment that we closed yesterday all the way up until like a half hour before the open. And so what happened was we get these couple of really, really big green candles like shooting us up over the high of day yesterday. And then we came back down right before the open. And you see this candle that I'm highlighting right here. This is 8:30. For me, Central Time, it would be 9:30 Eastern Time. This is the first minute that the market was open today. And you'll see we came down and we just touched off of this 50 EMA. And I thought one of two things was going to happen. I had a really, really high degree of confidence that one of two things was going to happen. Either we were going to bounce right off of this 50 and then rocket up and just pop like right from the start, or if we broke through the 50, I thought that we would come down and play on the 200 for a little bit, and then we would bounce off of that and continue higher. So the first thing did not happen, but the second thing did happen. So this is why I got in a lot of contracts in the first minute of the day, and then that's why I got in a lot more contracts, 8:34, because since we didn't bounce off immediately, we came through the 50 and then we came down and touched the 200. I had a real high degree of confidence that we would bounce off of the 200 and continue to the upside, and that's exactly what we did. And so I added in here, came up. Once we got up above this high of day yesterday, I kind of knew that this is when we were really going to take off, and I wanted to take advantage of this movement and this real nice, it was just a nice controlled upwards movement. So I was simply, playing the chart, and I was getting out on these big pushes. So every time we'd have a nice big push, I would get out. So you see that on these green candles, like 8:48, 8:49, I got out when we were having these really strong pushes, because that was really pushing the price of my options contract up at that point. And I was really trying to take advantage of that. Then again at 8:51, I got out, 8:52. You see that I'm just closing out contracts kind of every few minutes as we rode this up. And then I was also trading Meta and I was trading the Qs at the same time. So I had basically 3 trades going simultaneously while all this was happening. And then you can see that my very last contract that I got out was 8:55. So that is right here. So essentially, I got in here, added down here. Once we came up through here, I did almost all of my closing and taking profit in this little stretch right here. And then you'll see that at 8:55 right here, this was my last out. So I was getting in here, got in again here, let the price come back in my favor. Once we popped up over high a day yesterday, I closed pretty much everything out all the way up to right here. Now, in hindsight, you can see that I should have given it another 15 minutes. If I would have waited, let's see, like 9:25, I could have given it another 15, 20 minutes and gotten some more out of it. But I was okay because, I made a lot of money just in this short amount of time right here. Plus I had 2 other trades going on that I had to think about. So it was definitely, I was multitasking at this point, and, I was happy. I wasn't getting greedy. I made a lot of money on this one trade, as well as the Qs and Meta too. So I had no problem with that. And this is another reason why I really love the alligators so much, because you can see how on the alligators, we've got the quickest moving average, the medium, and then the slow moving average. And then when they all start to stack in your direction, right here, right at 849, you'll see when the fastest moving average comes up over the 50. We've got the most important moving average, the 200, second most important moving average, the 50, and then in third place, we've got the alligators kind of giving you more of an immediate idea of where price action is. So I just looked at all of these things in combination, and I saw that this was a nice strong trend that had developed right here. And even though the entire thing, this particular trade, I opened and closed everything from 8:30 to 8:55. So in less than a half hour, I did this entire trade in addition to doing meta and doing the Qs at the same time. But you see how the idea of the trend strategy that's exactly what I do every day. Is I just identify trends and then I follow the trends. And for me, I had a very high degree of confidence that if we did actually break through this 50 EMA, that the 200 would hold, because we just had this solid run of basically no movement below this point where this 200 was. I mean, it was just like a brick wall of support here. So, I was almost completely 100% confident that we would not break below this, that we would actually just bounce off of it and climb up. And that's what we did. Now, I didn't know how long the trend would last, and that's why I was taking advantage of the action when it was going in my favor, and I was closing out contracts all throughout right here. In hindsight, we see that I could have stretched it out a little bit longer. But then, if we go even further, we see that if I had gone anywhere past like 9:30, then I would have been losing money and basically continued to lose money throughout the day. Day's still going on right now. At this exact minute that I'm making this video, it's 2:16 p.m. Central Time, so market is still open, but we would have basically done nothing good after like 9:25. So yes, I could have held a little bit longer and gotten even a little more profit out of this particular trade, but then at a certain point, it would have run out of steam, and I would have just essentially been losing money today from 9:25 on if I had indeed kept this trade open. So that's why it's important to quickly identify the right moment to get in, get out and take your profits while the profits are there to be taken. And like I say, just play the chart. Just play the chart, and this is the thing that's going to allow you to be successful every single day. Okay, we're back. I hope you enjoyed that little breakdown. So like I said at the beginning, just keep at it. If you find yourself getting frustrated, thinking, I don't know what I'm doing, this is all too overwhelming, it's not a big deal. If you need to do paper trading to get yourself up to speed, you can do that. And if you paper trade, you're not going to make any money, but you're also not going to lose any money. So the one thing that I will say about if you do paper trade, make sure that you actually use the same amount in your paper trades as you will use when you are trading in reality. Because it's completely pointless to paper trade $100,000 when your actual real money account is going to be $2,000. The experience is not anything like each other. So if you're going to be trading $2,000 of real money, then paper trade with $2,000 of real money. If you're going to be trading $5,000 of real money, paper trade with $5,000 of real money, and so on and so on. But just get yourself familiar, get yourself comfortable, and as you do this day after day, things will make a lot more sense. What you see on the charts will become a lot more easy to comprehend, and you'll just get better day by day. Like always, I've got a course that teaches you exactly what I do every single day. You can get my complete options day trading course. It's over 7 hours long. It has about 40 lessons in there, including live trades. So you'll see a couple of days where I actually film the entire day as I go through trading on that day. I think it's a great deal. I think it's a great resource if day trading is something that you'd like to learn how to do, either as a full-time income or to just supplement your income from your day job. And I also have my book, Secrets of the Lone Wolf Trader. You can get that on Amazon. So if you haven't already read that, go pick it up. All right, that's it for now. Hope you all continue to have a great week, and keep trading green. You know, keep positive, keep optimistic, stay sharp up here. Don't trade scared, don't trade greedy, and I think you're going to do great. So see you soon. Take care.